Welcome to Nacho Fitness Coach,
the podcast where fitness is technically the topic, but let's be honest, we get distracted.
I'm Sara, the fitness expert who actually understands this stuff.
And I'm Caleigh, the beginner who thinks Bulgarian split squats are a hate crime.
Every week, we break down fitness myths, call out internet nonsense, and try to make sense of the chaos.
While also going off on tangents, making bad jokes, and questioning our life choices.
If you're looking for expert advice with a side of whatever Caleigh does here,
or just need a podcast that makes you feel better about your own fitness journey,
you're in the right place.
All right, let's do this. Or, talk about doing this.
So, Caleigh, what do you like to listen to when you work out?
I don't know. Sometimes a podcast and sometimes music.
Hey, wait. This is a podcast. What if you could have both?
At the same time?
Oh, yeah. Podbeat is a free mobile app that lets you add any beat style to any podcast for your workout. It's easy to do and free to download in the App Store. Caleigh, you sound pretty cool with the trap beat, but Sara, the funk beat works for your voice.
So if you want to make our podcast work for a workout, check it out in the App Store.
They even have Podbeat for Android users in the Google Play Store. Okay, on to the show.
Welcome to Nacho Fitness Coach today, where we have a guest with us that Kerstin Schulze has over 30 years of experience. And I did the name right. I get the name right? I got it. I nailed it. All right. Okay. And she has decades of experience kind of in the health and wellness trainer space. But she's got a really interesting perspective. She has trained kind of some high profile clients that getting them ready in front of the camera, even ones behind the camera. So we're going to talk about all things around maybe goals that have higher pressure, because it's tied to something more than just a personal goal. Maybe it's a job or a specific role that people have played, and how that changes maybe the dynamic of what the plan and process maybe looks like, and just kind of talk about all things around that and share some of her experiences. So welcome to Nacho Fitness Coach, Kerstin.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah.
We're going to have nachos too?
Yeah. That was, sometimes that ends up being our break time.
Sometimes we do.
Yeah, sometimes we do.
That'd be cool. We can reach to the camera.
Yeah. Would be. I would love that. Yeah.
We had one guest that sent us a taco recipe because he knew we were big taco lovers.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah. So I was like, we'll have to put that out on social. So we'll share that along and pass it along. So awesome. Well, welcome. Well, I'm super excited to have a chance to chat with you a little bit today and just kind of share what your experiences have been as a client, all the people that you've kind of worked with, or as a training, all the different clients that you've had training in this space, and just learn a little bit more about what you see about lifestyle, goal changes, how do people stay consistent, what, your experience has been training the men versus women. Does that look different? Does it change based on your decade? All that. So I don't even know where we want to start. I mean, that's a lot.
Well, why don't we start at the beginning on how I got started?
Yeah, that'd be great.
I think we have similar stories there because I started as an athlete myself.
Okay.
I'm from track and field. I ran the Junior Olympics. I'm a silver medalist in heptathlon, high jump, far jump, shot put, 200, 400.
I did the heptathlon for one meet. And then I realized I needed to stick to just throwing because the running killed me.
Yeah, I'm a sprinter. I'm not a long runner, but 400, 200. I couldn't do the 100s. I couldn't get out the blocks fast enough. But after 50, 100 meter, I got you. And so I was always an athlete all my life. And then I didn't training really found me because I always wanted to be an actor. And my mother, I was raised in Germany. My mother didn't think that acting is a real job. And she wanted me to get a real job. So I got a business degree. And then I worked.
That's what I did too. I just got a business degree. Well, I don't really use it now either.
We always need something to, we need to be able to count on money, right?
Yep. Right. Yep.
Then I worked for 10 years in the corporate world, really. I had actually two businesses. During the day, I was assistant marketing director for AOL. And at night, I had a dance troupe. I performed in shows and everything. And then I came to the States when I was 29, had a son, and didn't want to work for the corporations anymore. I wanted to do something different. And I remember I was working out. Figure just came out. I wanted to train for fitness and fitness competition, and I tried. Gymnastics was not for me. I was going to kill my neck. I mean, it was, I couldn't barely do a cartwheel. So figure came around, and I trained for figure then at the time, and figure is different. You don't have to do all the jumps. You just have to have a physically very balanced body, and this was way before all these other, I mean, I don't know if anybody knows about fitness and figure are the difference.
Yeah.
But you don't jump as much. You don't do the whole routine. It's more about the aesthetic. Yeah. And then I decided, okay, how am I going to make money with it? And this gentleman in Texas opened a gym, and he said, hey, why don't you come work for me and open a gym? And I helped him to open the gym, sold memberships. Then I went and got all the certifications, body pump, TRX, and all these things. And I taught dance aerobics. And I just loved the interaction with people. And they saw quick results with my classes. And I was always very about getting into the mental space in my classes and the mindfulness of it. And I think when we can get into the mental state, that's when we make the biggest changes, I saw. And so these were my beginning stages. And so I was teaching classes, and then I came to California, and I had a photo shoot. I was after I did a competition. I said, okay, well, how am I gonna be known here? And the best way to be known, this is when we still had magazines, and you could buy a magazine and look at you in the fitness magazine.
Yep.
And I said, okay, I got to do a competition, win my competition. So I did that, went and did a competition, won that one, won the overall, then won the next one. And I just then was offered all these magazines. Then one day, some guy comes up to me and said, hey, is that you in a magazine? And people start asking me for more advice. And it kind of like followed me, and I feel like when you live your passion, you truly live your passion, and you study it because you love it so much, it just found me. And then, long story short, I opened my own gym. I ran another gym. I was a training department supervisor. I mean, I call it the director of physical education in the department. And I know I'm rambling on here.
No,
and
this is great.
Fine.
30 years in a couple sentences. Then I just opened my own gym in Manhattan Beach, California, and been doing it ever since. The most people I've ever trained during a day, one day, is probably 23 people in one day. And I used to group them together. And then I found out that people have really an essence for time. And I figured out how to maneuver in 30 minutes and get the most effect for people within 30 minutes. And that's how I created the 30-minute workouts. And then celebrities found me, and they were pressured for time. When Chris Hemsworth just got the role Thor, he came to us, and he wanted my nutrition advice. And I was married at the time. He wanted my husband's help as well. And he was not built the way he is now. And
I've seen those before and after pictures. Before, for sure. Yeah.
He was always handsome, had a great voice.
Yeah.
His wife was at the time just pregnant with their first child. And then I trained Nicole Ari Parker, got her ready for Broadway. And Robert Patrick, who was in Gangster Squad, I got him to look really rugged because he was kind of a bit overweight at the time. And and to talk about the pressure of time, when somebody only has, let's say, 3 months to get ready for a role, you have to really work out differently than the average person, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I always say when you have a goal, it makes it easier to stay focused than when you don't have a goal. When you say, oh, well, I just want to, lose 5 pounds or 10 pounds or 20 pounds, but you really don't have a real goal, I think it's really important to set goals.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's a very specific distinction too. I mean, because technically I want to lose 5 pounds.
All right. I think it's time for a quick break.
Hey, it's Sarah, and my book, Healthy Habits Challenge, 10 Weekly Habits for Better Health, is now available via hardcover on Amazon. Just go to Amazon.com and search Healthy Habits Challenge. And we're back. Could be considered one's goal, but it's not very actionable. It's not super specific. There's not a time frame on it. And so when you really look at setting SMART goals, which is kind of what it gets, the acronym is, you know, it's not measurable. It's not specific, time related.
Well, and becoming Thor is a very, very specific goal.
It is a very specific goal.
Yeah, so, and he had 6 months, so he didn't have 3 months. He had 6 months to get ready for it. He had a little bit more time. But usually when people come to me, it's like, oh, well, I just want to get in shape within 3 months. Yeah. You know.
Right. Yep. Did your experience and history getting ready for stage, were you able to use kind of some of that experience with stage prep? And do you use that then with some of those clients that come with those shorter term goals, or do you kind of approach it completely differently?
Great question. So usually when somebody comes to me, I always ask, why are you seeking me out? You know, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of programs. Why me? And so I can understand mentally where are they coming from. A lot of times they either have already injury and they have tried everything in the book and they don't know how, or they come recommended because of other people's results, right? And with that, sorry, I've got to plug my computer in here. With that, I then ask, okay, what is your lifestyle like? If you have, I, for instance, have a woman that has 3 children, is in a career, and has a husband, and has a whole house, so it has to do all of these. Her time to work out is way less than somebody that says, well, I'm getting this role, that's all I have to focus on. That means that person can work out twice a day. So to go back to your question, when I trained and got ready for a show, I lived in the gym. So it was much easier for me to work out in the morning and at night and do 2 workouts a day and then go home and prep all my meals. But the average person doesn't have that time. Yep. They have to take care of their kids. They have to go to work.
We really don't all have the same 24 hours in a day.
Exactly. So it all depends on that. And so I always say you cannot chase a bad diet.
Yeah.
So if you can't put it into the gym, then you have to do it in the kitchen. Then you have to say, okay, well, then I can't have the pizza. Then I'm going to have to rather have just the protein and the vegetables if I couldn't work out today. So there has to be a balance, and balance is everything.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So the training, to get back to your question, is different of how much time do you have to get to your goal, how much what is your availability during the day, right? Be it nutrition, be it gym, be it, time is of essence.
Right. Oh, absolutely. Because it is the one thing that we all have the exact same amount of.
Right.
But we all have different competing priorities in our schedule, right? And so it varies significantly for people. So then, let's say you have that person that comes in that has a high level of responsibilities competing for their time, but they still it's still important for them to take care of themselves and carve out like a little chunk of time. So you've got somebody that maybe has a little bit of time. You kind of mentioned that you had carved out a specialty of like your 30-minute workouts. So, are you seeing that that's a more common thing that people are looking for? It's like, how do I be really efficient and still get to my goals because of my time limitations?
Great. Yeah, I definitely see that more and more because most people need a 2-income household and 2 incomes in a household. So there's not that much time left to spend in going to the gym or doing a workout at home. So I found that when people come to me, they love my 30-minute workouts. After 15 minutes, they look at their clock and say, wow, it's only been 15 minutes. We have done so much. But they love it that they're in and out and they get results from it. I always say, I'm not going to hold your hands for doing your cardio. And so there's things that you can do, like, for instance, if you're stuck at work, there's things that you can do at work. You know, I always say little things make a big pile too. Yeah. So whatever, if you park your car a little bit further away from the grocery store,
Sarah's big thing.
Little things make a big difference, you know. Yeah. If you don't eat those carbs at night and just eat the carbs for lunch, you make a big difference in your body. So it's how you maneuver around how you eat. So a lot of times when people come to me to say, well, give me 3 days of how you eat and let me see what you like and what your process is. And then I say, okay, well, I don't want to take away what you love, but we're going to have to switch them around maybe a little bit to help you and how it works for you. And it all depends on, if you're an ectomorph, endomorph, you know, what's your heritage, how does your body function, what's your blood type, all of these things matter, you know. And then I always say, when is the last time you were at your best weight? And if it's been a long, long time, it's going to be a long time before you're going to get back to it, right? Mm-hmm. But if it was just 2 years ago, the body will go back to it much, much faster.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And just kind of that memory and getting back to that set point, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, you know, people do underestimate the simple stuff. They'll underestimate the things that are free too, you know, or like just changing your strategy of how you're eating your meals, but not necessarily changing all your meals. Right. And so sometimes it's not about the choices, but you just mentioned, like, I have a tendency to try not to eat a whole lot of carbs, like after lunch, for example, right? They're your fast energy. They're what you need to like think and function and stuff. But, you know, the second half of the day, you know, you kind of are winding down a little bit, right? I mean, you've got kind of your lull maybe in the afternoon, and then you get into your night, and then your activity level tends to, for most people, I think, kind of like die off. Well, I'm like, well, I don't need heavy carbohydrates if I'm not going to be super active tonight. So sometimes just rearranging your food.
Absolutely. Huh, and I would say, think of your body like it's a car. So if you go in the morning, you fill up your car with gas, and you didn't drive the car anywhere, and you're going to park it at night, and you're going to go out there and fill it up with gas again. It's the same with your body. You're refilling it. You're overflowing. And what happens when it overflows? It stores as fat.
Yeah. Wow, that's a great analogy. Yeah. I've never heard of that one before. I like that, though, because it's so true. It's like, well, if you didn't go use it, why are you adding more to it? Yeah. You've already got it there. Oh, Caleigh's mind now is just like,
I'm always learning.
So your clients now, I mean, are you doing mostly then like group training? Do you do one-on-one stuff? Is it all just through your gym then that you have? Is it still in Manhattan Beach? You know, talk through a little bit about what that looks like for you right now.
So I have small groups right now, which means like 2, maybe 3 people in a group. Usually it's one-on-one. I have my own gym here, and people come either to me or I go to them. I also do house calls. I also do online. I have people in Paris, in New York, in Germany that I train online. And then I also have my website, where you can go and see all the programs that I use for my clients, be it the Fitness for the Busy Lifestyle, where there's 10 minutes to 30-minute workouts, and you can go and do it yourself. So, and it's way more affordable than, I know that I'm expensive in the sense of if you have to hire me one-on-one, and not everybody can afford that. So I thought, okay, well, how can I give back the same? And if you have questions, obviously I will help you, and we'll do an assessment. There's a BMR calculator on it, because you got to know what is your output, how many calories do you even burn sitting, you know, and also how did I transform my body? So I have stuff for people that are traveling and they are working from home and they don't want to go to the gym, or they're going into the hotels. There's so much you can do in a hotel, but people shy away from it. It's like, oh, I can't work out, I'm traveling.
Right. And I hear that a lot.
The best time to work out is when you're traveling, because you have no distractions, because you don't have to answer to a husband. You don't have to answer to your kids. You just have you and your business and yourself, right?
Yeah, right.
And then I also have gym workouts, healthy lifestyle, and it's a blueprint of how I built my body. And obviously we'll make an adjustment to the person, but there's exact exercises in the gym, because the gym can be intimidating when you first come into the gym and say, whoa, where do I start?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And a lot of times the machines are taken. I show how much you can do actually on one machine. You can do a full workout on one machine, never have to leave. So if the gym is packed, pick one machine and you can do a whole workout on a machine.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so with that, we're going to take just a quick little ad break. This is Sarah, and I've been using NutraBio for almost 15 years. It's hands down one of my favorite brands. Their products are high quality, transparent, and I've even toured the facility to see their dedication to quality. If you've been thinking about giving them a try, now is the perfect time. Use promo code SARA, which is SARA, at checkout for 10% off all your orders.
Okay, we're back.
And also for people that want a new challenge, people are stuck. They're doing the same thing over and over. I need challenges. I always look for new challenges, because I am a Gemini and I get bored really fast.
Sure. Yep.
And I just want variety. So I like to go to the gym. I like to work out at home. I like it all. I love to go dancing. If you don't want to go to the gym, figure out if you want to walk with friends and so on, or you want to go dancing, or you want to go for a bike, or whatever it is. Just move. Just take action, and don't say, "Well, I just didn't do anything to that."
Yeah.
Yep. There's something that you can do, and that is a really good point though about going to the gym, especially if it is a busy gym or just a busy time of day that works for you, that everyone else is there, like after work or whatever. That can be a huge problem with just following a specific workout. If you haven't yet learned what alternate exercises are, or like what you could go do, if you're just following a plan, you're just starting, you're trying to wrap your head around everything. Right. You go into a gym and you maybe had a pattern the last time you went, and then you show up now and it's like people are using your space. Yep. And it's a lot. Yep. I mean, it does make it intimidating, and it makes it hard to figure out like what you should do next.
You haven't had that opportunity to learn, how to be versatile or, adjust for those complications. And, for me, like I would panic.
Yeah, you would leave.
Probably leave.
I was like, I can picture that right now. Walk in and be like, oh, they're on my machine. This is my first exercise. It's taken. Yep. I am done.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. Because that's all you have, right? Is that blueprint, and if that blueprint you can't follow, what are you going to do? Right. Yeah, it's very intimidating for sure.
So if you could do only one exercise for the rest of your life, and like, what would it be? Like if there was only one, like either movement or type, like if it would be like a strength training lift or maybe you choose dancing or running. Like if there's only one thing you could do for exercise for the rest of your life, what do you think you would choose?
I'm big on functional strength training, so it would have to be probably a kettlebell bicep curl to a press from a squat.
Nice.
So I get everything in.
Everything. Yep. You do. Do you like kettlebells too? I love kettlebells. They're great.
Yeah. I think functional strength training, the older we get, gets way more important than just one machine. I mean, machines are obviously safer, but once you have done machines and you have the right strength, I highly recommend to do functional strength training, because it just gets everything. And we need mobility, we need balance, we need, core strength, all of that.
Well, and you don't just use, an individual, bicep curl. Like there's not really too many things in life that you're just doing that one motion. Like it doesn't translate into your ability to live well and to be strong in a lot of different capacities. So,
you just hate upper body, everything.
True. True. But squats are super important.
Yeah. I mean, we get out from the chair in a squat, right? We get out of a car in a squat. We go to the bathroom in a squat. I mean, everything is a squat.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's not just up and down squats that we get used to doing in the gym too. I mean, we do lateral squats, we do front and back. Our feet aren't always like directly side by side. I mean, they'll be staggered stance. You think of all the different ways you move. And yet when you go to the gym, it depends on, I feel like it depends on the phase you're at in your journey of knowledge, right? Because you, as you mentioned, like circuit machines are a great place to start. If you
leg press is perfect.
Yeah. If you're in just getting started in the gym, at our gym here, we've got like 3 rows of circuit machines.
That's where I started.
And actually I got the idea from my dad because he was still playing I call it old man baseball, but he was playing baseball in Arizona once a year. And it was, for like 65 plus guys, and they would fly and they would play like the World Series of baseball. And for the few months before that, he would go to our gym, and he was like, I just started going through like the circuit machines. Like there's 3 rows.
Yeah.
And he goes, I started doing those like 3 times through, and I would go like 3 times a week. And I played so much better. Like my legs felt good. I could run. I was strong. And I said, oh my gosh, that's crazy. I mean, that is as simple as it is to get started, right? And if you don't want to think about it, and if you just want to go, the circuit machine rows in any gym are going to hit everything.
Absolutely. Always a safe place to go to.
Yeah.
And then
it's very protective in movement.
And try to move the pin down, try to do more, right? Like I have had some people that they've done that and they're like, well, I don't know if I'm like, you can't just leave it on the top one the whole time. Like you also have to try to like push yourself a little bit and move that pin down. But then you start getting comfortable in your space. You get comfortable in your gym. I feel like then you start getting your confidence too in the space to be like, okay.
Yep.
I might go venture over the dumbbells. Because I can do what the bicep curl machine was doing, but now I can stand instead of sit, which now you're engaging your core, getting some stability there.
Yep.
But now I can do the same thing with some dumbbells.
Well, and it kind of gave me a chance to watch from the circuits and kind of watch the dumbbell area over time and figure out like, okay, like what do people do over there?
Right.
Like, I need to scope things out first. So spent a few weeks just kind of watching that area and learning the etiquette and
that's a whole nother thing.
And then I was ready to move over there.
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing.
And then it's like once you conquer that, okay, now you go get the dumbbells and try to replicate what you were doing with the dumbbells. And then like, okay, now you're in the free weight area. And now maybe the barbell's not getting so scary, right? Like now we can maybe start looking at, or like picking up a kettlebell versus just a dumbbell.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you're like, now what do I do with this? And it just becomes like one big playground.
Yeah.
You just be curious and be willing to move and try something new. I mean,
yeah. And if you don't want to do it in the gym, I mean, you can start doing it at home, Yeah. You can go from a seated squat into standing up.
Yep.
And start doing that.
Right. Movement is medicine, even if you don't have any weights at home. If you just start using your body weight and moving, we actually just learned that on the last episode. I put Caleigh through, was that just the last one or was it 2 weeks ago? A couple weeks ago, maybe. Yeah. We did, I put her through just like a body weight workout, kind of somewhat Tabata style, like shortened. It wasn't 8 full rounds. It was just 5. I was like, okay, jumping jacks for 40 seconds.
I would have died.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 8. She was done after 5.
Well, we did it right in here in this tiny little, it was hot. I just drank an energy drink.
Her heart raced her. But it was jumping jacks. It was like little pulse squats, a push up, squat jumps, then at the end, and then like some little like plank jacks. And it's just, you don't think 5 minutes, things will add up very quickly, but it will.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I used to teach a body sculpting class online when we went through the pandemic. And it was killer, and because people didn't have equipment at home. Remember, it was like finding gold when you buy equipment.
Oh, and it was like 3 times the price because they were all taking advantage of the fact that everyone's trying to have a home gym. Darn it.
So we did a lot of, jumping jacks, squat jumps, and if you can't jump it, just get on your tippy toes. Just start with something, you don't have to explode. You don't have to get high off the ground. We just want something that makes you accelerate your fast twitch muscle fibers.
Mm-hmm. Just move your body in a quick manner. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Then you go sprint. Adults don't choose to sprint a whole lot. Sprinting is good.
Sprinting is very good.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah. I till this day have people jumping on boxes. It doesn't have to be a high box. Just something that is just low,
yeah.
As long as you accelerate.
Well, because that's the other thing we were saying adults don't do is jump. We don't jump.
Right. Adults don't choose to jump throughout the day.
Yeah. And it strengthens your bones, your ankles, your muscles, your joints. It is so important. It goes into your fat storage much faster for energy. It's one of the best things you can ever do is do those sprints. Till this day, I'm not a big long distance runner. The longest I ever ran was 10 miles and I thought I was going to die.
Yep.
My hamstrings were locking up. It felt so unhealthy. My joints were hurting. And I was like, you know what? 3 miles is my max, but I love sprints. So what I do is I do a 30-second sprint, and then I walk for 2 minutes. 30-second sprint and walk for 2 minutes. And what happens is actually, and I got certified in hormonal training with people with hormones, and it actually makes you not build cortisol levels.
All right, I think it's time for a quick break. If you're enjoying our podcast, please subscribe and leave a 5-star review wherever you're listening.
And we're back.
So because you only do a 30-second sprint, and then if you burn it off for 2 minutes, you're walking or you're doing lunges or you're doing something that is not high intensity, or you do some biceps, some arms, which is a smaller muscle, so it's not such a high blood pump. You burn actually more body fat and do more good for the body and don't raise your cortisol levels. Because when people do a lot of high cardio, it raises your cortisol levels. Mm-hmm. And what does that mean? Then all of a sudden you get all that layer of fat in your stomach walls and into your legs, and you're wondering why you can't lose weight. Well, because your body's stressed.
Yep. Well, I actually have been hearing that a lot lately by, coaches that have a high client profile of people in like their 40s, 50s, and 60s. And, you talk about cortisol levels or just like that long duration, high intensity stuff. So my mind immediately goes to like the group fitness style classes, right? Where it's all cardio based, right? So, how that's not really playing to your current hormonal situation, because you're just building up that stress over time by putting yourself into such a high level of intensity for 30, 45, 60 minutes. And, to me, one of the most frustrating things that I think people probably go through is they think they're doing all the right things and then it's not working, and so you think of how many women in their 40s, even, late 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s that are like, I'm going to class. Yeah. I'm going to exercise. I go 5 or 6 times a week, but they're showing up at those and it's really not helping them at all.
Or spending so much time on the treadmill.
Just, running miles on the treadmill and then just wondering why my body's just broken.
Yeah, I agree with you. I had a girl that's in her 30s, and she came to me and said, well, I work out 3 hours a day, and I only eat so much. And I'm like, well, that's your first problem. Your body the body doesn't know what we're doing, right? It doesn't know we're walking. It doesn't know all of these things. It just knows it needs to survive. That's all it knows. It knows I have to reproduce my cells. I have to keep my heart going. I need to survive. So when we put our body into a high stress state, means starvation or over excessive exercise, it stresses and it will shut down things to survive. Mm-hmm. So we have to find the balance in our body to how much exercise is the right thing. And I have found that no more than an hour a day is plenty.
Plenty. Mm-hmm. Agreed with you.
If you have to do more than an hour, that means you need to take a look in your kitchen of what you're putting in your mouth. And I always say, if you really do weight training the right way, you do 30 minutes and then you do 30 minutes of cardio afterwards or 20, you are fine. And you do that 3 to 4 times a week, you are fine. That's all you need. And people are like, oh, I don't have time and all that. I said, well, start with, I have a book in an ebook on my, it's free on my site. It's called The Secret to Being Fit. And I did that because I feel like a lot of people, they want to start something and they don't know how. Yeah. And it gets so overwhelming. They think they have to do all of this. And I always say, take 5 minutes. So you're going to set your timer, and I want you to do something for 5 minutes, some exercises. I don't care what it is. Do 5-minute squats or push-ups. The simple things at home is a squat, a push-up, and a reverse crunch, right? It's the easiest thing to do, or a dip of the bench. Do it for 5 minutes, set your timer, and then stop. And you do that for 2 weeks. You cannot go over 5 minutes. And then after 2 weeks, your body will crave it because we are reprogramming your routine. It's all a routine. It's when we eat is a routine. When we wake up is a routine. When we go to sleep, everything is a routine. In order to change our routine, we just have to do it consistently. And when people always come to me and say, yeah, but I'm not motivated. I said, I'm not motivated.
Nobody is.
I don't. Yep. I'm disciplined, and I schedule myself, and I show up for myself even when I don't want to. I mean, do you show up and go to work so you have money in your bank? Well, your body deserves the same thing, so you just got to show up. And just do 5 minutes. And next thing you know, you're doing 10 minutes. 10 minutes a day is 70 minutes a week. Mm-hmm. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
And you take huge difference with 70 minutes a week. And so I would say, stop looking at how much other people are doing. See what you start with. And then take away the sugar at night. That's it. Have it during the day. Go ballistic if you need to, but just start with taking it away at night. And you'll be surprised how many changes you're already making just with those 2 adjustments.
Mm-hmm. And neither of which cost you any money.
Yeah.
None.
I mean,
none.
And it's not a lot of time. You can find 5 minutes. And it's literally just the choice to put away the nighttime snacking treats.
Yeah.
And which, you know, eventually at some point you need to start learning some level of self-control.
Yeah.
So that's a good start there. And it's not a big one, right? So you're not saying you can't have it at all ever for the rest of your life. You're just saying cut it off. Cut it off after like 7 p.m. That's it. That's all I'm asking you to do.
Don't take the box of Gushers to bed with me.
Right. Yeah. Don't. You make sure you eat it for breakfast. Eat your Gushers for breakfast. And then after that, you can.
I could give that a try.
In Germany, we eat cake for breakfast.
Hey, I think I would love Germany. There we go. It's on my list now.
Feed my kids cupcakes for breakfast all this time.
You have.
You're getting on my back about it.
We're just living in the wrong country. Oh my goodness. I mean, it is true though. Like people do just default to thinking they've got to go this huge overhaul.
Right.
They just got to scrap everything and start over and do, you know, they'll find influencers online and make things. And I'm like, you can't compare your life to theirs. They've also probably been doing this for 10 years and went through a similar stage. So, you know, I mean, you kind of went through then that transformation too for yourself. I went through one. I wasn't the same way I am now at the beginning. Like, I remember thinking, because I had my corporate life for 10 years too. And I had packed sandwiches every day for lunch. And then I started to pay attention to what's in bread, for example. And I was like, oh my gosh, what am I ever going to eat for lunch if I don't have my sandwich and Diet Coke? My sandwich, and that's all, and my bag of chips. Like that was what I did. But it was the bread that got me, where I was like, okay, when I started trying to watch macros, and I was like, that's a lot of my carbs in that one meal. And guess what now? Like I hardly ever eat a sandwich. Like you figure it out over time. You change your patterns. But now I'm like, oh man, I don't think I could go back to having like a full, say like Subway sandwich every day for lunch. Cause I would be like, ooh, it would sit. It'd make me feel puffy, I think. Pretty sure. But you don't know till you get started.
It's not bread, right? It depends on what kind of bread too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, and how much? And like, you know, is it the foot long versus 4 inches? Or, you know, I mean, the volume and the type and everything plays into it. But, you know, also doesn't have to be just overly dramatic at the very beginning.
Well, even just getting that 5 or 10 minute exercise in. And I know we've talked about like check on your phone and see how much time you spent on social media. You know,
good point.
Because you can, you have time.
You think you just picked up your phone and all of a sudden 30 minutes is gone.
Yep.
I mean, it happens so fast.
Do we fit? If you stand in front of your microwave and you're warming up on your microwave, you usually do what, 1 minute to 3 minutes, right? Why not do some squats while you're standing in front of your microwave?
Right. Yeah.
3 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah. Which
you're already there. You're just looking at it, doing nothing. You might as well do something.
Right. Yeah. And those are like the longest 3 minutes ever too, by the way, because I'm like, is it not ready? You know what I mean? And then like, if you get distracted doing something else, you're like, oh wait, shoot.
Yep.
That was 10 minutes ago. What just happened to my life? Time is not the same. Sure. It is not the same. So, yeah, I mean, it's so true. It doesn't have to be a lot. It can be simple starts.
Yeah. Small changes.
And you can do it.
What is your goal? You know, a lot of times people wait too late. I always say you want to be in your best shape by the time you hit 50. I'm not saying it's too late, but it gets harder because now we have to deal with hormonal changes. We're going through, I call it the second puberty, because your body's changing again. We changed when we were in our 15, 14, and we changed and we didn't understand what our body's doing. All of a sudden we're getting bigger and smaller and acne and, you know, hair's doing crazy stuff. And it's the same thing again when we hit, you know, in our 40s. I'm just going through menopause myself right now and trying to figure out, okay, I noticed that when I have more sugar, my hot flashes go up. I noticed that when I don't work out, my moods go up and I sleep less. So we have the power to change things. We just got to be, I feel like, just change with the body's changes and be disciplined, and discipline meaning schedule yourself, schedule your body and build muscle, because muscle atrophy happens to us all. We can't stop it, but we can surely slow it down.
Yep. Well, and you just brought up a really good point too about just having that general awareness and paying attention to what you're doing and how it's making you feel, because there's a direct correlation to it all.
Absolutely. Yeah. And alcohol, I do love my skinny margarita and some champagne on the weekend. I'm not going to lie, but I learned that sake gives me a severe headache, and learn your poison. It's poison. So when people say, oh, alcohol is good for you, it is not good for you. It is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Not good for you. It kills your brain cells and it kills the cells in your body, period. And just know, that's why I love doing on the Monday after a weekend, I always once a month do a prolonged fasting, because a prolonged fasting will help you to get to be insulin sensitive, raises your HGH levels, gets rid of all the broken cells, protein cells in your body. It's one of the best things. And you're not eating. Yeah. You're not spending any money. All you're drinking is hydration, lots of tea, lots of water, lots of hydration sticks in it, obviously, or to do Celtic salt, put it on your tongue, hydrates you faster. Go a whole day without eating and see the amazing benefits the next day. You're going to wake up and you're going to be like, wow, I have all this energy. And think about your body, mind thinks about food. I remember the first time I did prolonged fasting, and I know, mind you, I was a competitor, ate 6 times a day, and I was always eating. I was always preparing, and here I'm going to do a prolonged fast, and I thought I was going crazy the first day. I was going to the back to the refrigerator, I think 10,000 times. I was like, I'm not getting anything today. But I was so trained to eat and think about food all the time that it eliminated. It was kind of like refreshing, not having to worry about what I'm going to eat, not having to worry about what I have to go at the grocery store and get. So then the second day, I only do bone broth and put a little hot sauce in there and to get lots of protein, because I need to have my protein. But the benefits from it are so amazing that I just incorporated once a month. And I have friends of mine who have started doing it, and you lose about 5 to 9 pounds a week on it.
Sure.
Because you become insulin sensitive, and they call it now the metabolic confusion diet or the keto diet. It's all the same thing. It's called a rotation diet. Yeah. We've done it for years and decades. In bodybuilding, all it does is we're confusing the body with its macros, right? We're going really low and we're eliminating it for 3 days. The body adjusts every 4th day, and then you bring it back in, and now you become this metabolic furnace. Like your body's like, woo, I have all these carbs. Yes, let's burn. Because the body works on exchange. Yeah. That's why you can do for 2 days. 3 days low carb, 2 days high carb, 3 days low carb, and you never ever have to worry about putting on weight.
Right. Yeah. I mean, those are all the different strategies and things that like you hear about, it just comes down to finding what works for you.
Well, it's so interesting to hear her talking about the prolonged fasting, because my husband's been doing that. He's done a few 36 hours and then he did a 72 hour, which I thought he was crazy, but so it's just interesting to hear you saying, but he kind of reported the same thing. He's like, I feel amazing. I'm like, okay, do a few more times and then maybe I'll think about it.
But you're not saying do it every week. You're like, okay, you do it like once a month, and it's just like, I mean, and that can be enough to like make you feel reset, or give you that mental break with thinking about food. I mean, there's all those kind of psychological things that would come with kind of that too. Overall, I mean, it's whatever you can be consistent with, right? Yeah. Long term, and just realize it's part of your plan. It's the long haul, and just finding what works for you to feel great.
And that's it. At the bottom line, that's it. What is it that you really? Because in the long, yes, it's the vain part we want. Obviously, we want to look good and we want to feel good, but really, it's the feeling, right? How do we feel?
Yep.
And in our skin. And if you feel the best working out at 10 o'clock or or working out at 6 a.m., whatever it is that makes you feel good, do it.
Yep.
But do something that helps you build muscle and not destroy your muscles.
Mm-hmm. Which is strength training.
Yeah.
Do something that puts force on your body.
Yeah.
Yep. I love it. So, okay, what's going to be the best way for people to find you? So if we tag a bunch of your information on, like, in our show notes, you mentioned kind of your website. You've got probably all the socials.
Yeah. So I'm on Instagram, Party and Diet, same thing. And then my website, Party and Diet. I'm also on Facebook with my name, Kerstin Schulze. And I do my own social media. I don't have a robot doing my social media or somebody else. So that means I answer all the messages if they're polite and respectful.
Sure.
I do. I love helping people, so you can always reach out there to me, and that's it. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we'll find them and we'll link them in. And so, we definitely appreciate your time today. And it was really great to talk to you. I do feel like we kind of had a similar journey.
Yeah, I know. You two have very similar journey. Yeah,
which is fun. And just a lot of like this kind of the same kind of philosophies about things and how we train and how we like to work with people and kind of our journeys to get to where we're at today. So I do thank you for your time. Caleigh, you enjoy this? Sometimes she kind of tunes out.
I enjoy it. Yeah, I always am like, oh, another guest. And then we get to talking to people and I'm like, oh, it's a great guest.
See, it's fun. We love our guests.
Thank you.
Yeah. So
are you going to do the prolonged fasting now with your husband?
I could, I don't know. Maybe. I could try I could try a 36. He's made it look. He's done a lot of crazy things over the last few months that sound crazy out the gate, and then he does it, and he talks about how great it was, and I'm like, fine, I'll try it.
36 isn't quite so bad.
That's not
just
so bad.
Basically like one waking day. Mm-hmm. By the time you cut it off at 7:00 the night before you sleep, you just don't eat for one day, and then you sleep again. Like that's not that hard.
No,
but yeah, Alan disagrees. He's like, no,
probably do it.
That's too hard. That's too hard. We'll have to kick around that idea, I guess. Huh? I did once at one point. I think mine was like a 3-day thing. And I mean, it was just not consistent. I didn't do it again. But, just never, it's always worth trying something again.
I think so.
I feel like you gotta try it. Yep. Gotta try it.
And figure out what works for you. As we said, it might not be for you. It might be something else.
Yeah.
It might be intermittent fasting might be for you. Or
you're not going to die if you try it once. Like, give it a shot.
Yeah.
Yep. So very good. Well, thank you again for your time.
Yes,
we'll link everyone on the show notes. We'll let you know when the episode comes out. Yeah. And it was really nice talking to you. Appreciate it.
Nice talking to you too.
Thank you. Thanks. Have a good evening.
Bye.
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 Thanks for listening. Be sure to head over to our Instagram at Nacho Fitness Coach and let us know how you feel about the topic. Do you love it or hate it?
Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe or follow button wherever you're listening. And if you like our podcast, leave us a rating. See you next time.
You've been listening to Euphony Innovatives Sonified.